Hi, everybody. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi of the JQK Immigration Law Firm, founder of the company where we help people from across the world come to the United States, in particular people who are married, have fiancés and want to come here, as well as those who have extraordinary ability or in the national interest. That the work they do is very special. And we like working with these clients in particular. It's our focus at our firm. But what we're doing right now is our regular session where we do every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern. We talk about U.S. immigration, been up to this kind of stuff for the last couple of years in this live show, but doing immigration for more than 10 years. And we love taking your questions live and just talking about this stuff. It's our passion here. And so we like to just honestly always talk about it. And so we're going live right now on TikTok, Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter, YouTube, long channel and short view, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. I think Facebook is going to be shut off pretty soon. But we take your questions live by U.S. Immigration, general questions only, not intended for individual legal guidance. For that, we have to schedule a private consultation. Contact us for that at going to our website, jqklaw.com/contact. Again, that's jqklaw.com/contact. And fill out that stuff. That's the best way to connect with us. Is then you'll go in our system and be able to follow up with you in the proper way needed. But again, immigration lawyer John Khosravi here for general questions. We're taking your questions live. We came in a little bit minute late, so the systems are still setting up, bringing the questions in. I'm sure one of the first questions we're going to get is how long things are taking, which is definitely true if you're dealing with the embassy system and majority of the USCIS part of the system. Cool thing is we're getting work permits for adjustment of status cases approved fairly quickly, like almost all of them. 4 to 8 weeks, they're approved work permits based on filing a green card case. These are cases submitted right before the increase in filing fees with USCIS on April 1st. So cases filed before April 1st are getting their, at least in the last week of it, are getting the work permits. Now, you might have a case pending 8 or 9 months and still in a work permit. Unfortunately, the way they do things is when they change the rules, they just change it for the new people, and people in the line just stay in the line. It's not a fair system. It's very frustrating, I bet. But that's just what's happening with them. Kumadi says, where do I send the I-131 visa and how do I send the payment, please? Well, I-131 is not a visa. It's a request for some sort of travel document. Instructions on where to send payment and where to mail it to are on the website, uscis.gov/I-131, I-131. It has a different various filing addresses depending on where you're located. And payment on those, I don't think they have an online version of Form I-131, so you have to mail it with the application, make sure you get the fees correct. They've made a very complicated system of figuring out what the payment is. Unfortunately, a new fee update is a mess. But that's all the stuff you request. I think you might email you to. It's in the instructions for the form, and it's on the website. It's all there. This is like, if you want us to do it, you got to just have us hire us to do it. But all the information is on the uscis.gov website for your question. All right, let's go to some other questions. Tanya says, what happens after I-485 approved 5 days ago and no updates? Nothing. You'll probably get a green card in the mail next week or two, and that's about it. Sometimes it takes a couple weeks longer. Sometimes a green card gets lost in the mail. The government says they sent it. Keep track of your USCIS case number at uscis.gov and get updates if they produce the card. If not, if it takes over 30 days from the approval date, call USCIS to ask to see what's going on. Kind of stay on top of it. 5 to 10% of the time, issues do pop up that are like things are lost, they don't go in the system properly, that kind of stuff. So you want to stay on top of that. Maybe it's not 5 to 10%, probably like 2 to 5%, but it happens well enough. That's it's something we watch out for. But congrats on getting an approved adjustment case. All right, so let's go with some questions on TikTok. I'm a permanent resident. I'm married someone in Guyana. How long would it take to come 2 years already? Unfortunately, if you're a green card holder filing for your spouse, those cases are super backed up. Could take 4 to 6 years. Essentially, the line isn't really moving enough. So it could be now. Right now, it looks 4 to 6 years. Next week, it might come down to 2 years. So the immigration system is not consistent enough to say how long it's going to take. But right now, it looks like it's going to take 4 to 6 years. It's pretty awful if you're a green card holder and you get married and you want to bring your spouse. The way to do it is, get married before you file the green card if you have a green card case pending, because the spouse will still get the green card, not have to wait. Now, that case, you still have to file an I-824, and then you got to go with consular process. It'll still take 2 years, but it's better that way around. But, you might have met each other after you got the green card, so there's no of that. Kumi says, how could I hire you in assisting me with I-134? I'm a resident alien. You have a consultation session with us first to review your background, and based on that, we can provide cost and processing times and all that kind of stuff. and if it's possible for our case to even do the case. And then we quote a fee at that time. And if you want us to do the work, well, we'll help you with it. But first, there's always more to it. If you're requesting an I-131, I'm guessing you're requesting a ranch permit. There's more information we need, not even about the thing you're looking for, about the bigger picture, about citizenship, about like we can't talk about tax stuff, but just stuff that you'd be mindful of. And all these other things. There's little nuanced rules to it that it's better to have an attorney. So that's the process. Schedule a time. Go to jqqlaw.com/contact. Give your basic information there. We'll follow up with a link for scheduling an appointment. And then we do a video consultation. We'll talk and they'll take from there, either with myself or my associate. Okay. More likes, can't track. Okay. Is it possible for USCIS to send back my green card if it was returned to them from an old address? It is possible. You have to call them immediately and try to get them to get the new address and send new place. If they get it back and you don't like follow up, they send it twice, follow up or something like that, they'll like trash it, their green card or something like that. Just follow up with them as soon as possible. Musa says, I-24 pending. Also have a new I-130. Should I withdraw previous application? No, you don't need to withdraw anything. I mean, I can't give you individual legal guidance as to what to withdraw and not to. I don't see a particular reason to withdraw all application unless there's something unique going on with your case. But you could have multiple I-130s pending from the same person for the same case. That doesn't cause other things to happen. Busio says, I filed the I-130 and I-485 spouse in the U.S. here on April 18, 2024. Still no receipt. Explain, please. I'm not the person to explain. You got to ask the government. But if you filed April, yeah, you should have got them. When we file one, yeah, you should have got it by now. I don't know what to tell you. Call USCIS and see. Did the check get cashed in your case? Did they take the money? Ever since they did the new system for the fee change on April 1st, there's been a lot of problems with processing. So there's just anything's possible. FG says, but he was in New York and you stay and he back home got and he got to get a waiver. I don't know. That looks too case specific. We got some talk. Queen says, hello to you too. And says, if someone has a green card but lives in another country, how long can they stay out of this country? As a green card holder, you're not supposed to be residing outside the country. If you need to be outside for a period of time, you need to plan ahead of time and get a reentry permit with the other person who was talking about the form I-131. Or you might have some exceptions that give you expedited citizenship, depending on the reason that you're outside the country. So you got to talk with a lawyer, analyze all this kind of stuff. All right, so let's go. I'm a U.S. citizen. Okay, so Kuma says, thank you for responding to me. You were kind of fast on how to contact you or schedule an appointment. Just go to our website, jqqlaw.com. It's on here. If you're on Instagram, just like my link tree or whatever it is, go to the website and then go to the contact us page. Just put JQK Law into Google. We have any way you put our name or law firm's name in, it's going to be a way to contact us. Cassie says, is it possible I have the interview for I-485 at 10 a.m.? Yeah, I've had it at 6 a.m. Let's see. Musa says, I'm a U.S. citizen. Doesn't second I-130 affects an NBC? I don't know what's going on. You could have two I-130s. I'm not sure exactly what's going on about your case, but you could have two I-130s pending, and then they're both approved, and they're both the NBC. You could just move both of them forward or choose one. We usually just choose one so you don't have to pay extra filing fees. But that's what happened there. Nirmi says, I can apply for citizenship, but my green card is pending refugee. I don't know what you mean pending refugee. I don't understand what that means, Nirmi. Kina says, I filed I-90 for green card, not received. Do I need to go and have an edit stamp my passport? If you get a new, I'm not sure what you're going to get the receipt. If you just order, request a new receipt or get an ADIAT stamp, ADIAT, you call them up. Klein says, can I apply for citizenship? My green card is pending refugee. I think you mean my my green card is based on being a refugee. So I can't tell you whether you can file for citizenship or not. We got to look at your background to see if it's appropriate or not. Klein says, how long does it take for get a green card if married to U.S. citizen? Well, I don't know. It depends on if you need waivers or not, if you're in the U.S. or not, or outside, what country you're from. So 2 years, 5 years or something like that. I don't know, 3 months to 5 years. It really, we need more information. Just I forgot to mention it, but we have a guide that goes through almost everything you need to know about this stuff. So not individual guidance. Go to our website. I have a guide called the Ultimate Marriage Green Card Guide. It's marriageimmigrationlaw.com. It's marriageimmigrationlaw.com. Download the guide there and then start your way. That's the way to go. Uyuk says, why is the embassy interview schedule for a visa take so long nowadays? Because they're understaffed and they're really backed up because of the pandemic and because of the travel bans. So it's just super backed up. And plus all this extra background checks got to do. Everything's become very difficult. JP says, "Good evening. I'm Jose from Texas. Entered U.S. without a tourist with a tourist visa and stayed here. Petition filed for me by U.S. citizen sister. I understand I'll be eligible for adjustment status. You will not be. You'll be ineligible because you overstayed. So you can't adjust status based on a preference category in that case." Here's my question: should I pay attention to final action dates? Or they tell, yeah, I mean, in your case, unless you have a parent that's a U.S. citizen or green card holder or spouse, and you can apply for a waiver, what's called the I-601A waiver, Jose. You absolutely should not file for application adjustment status. They're just going to know who you are and remove you. I mean, so glad you came on the show and asked this question. This is why people need legal guidance. This person could have just wasted a couple $1,000 and then got themselves on deportation list. What you got to do is I-130 should have been for I-824 consular processing, which it probably wasn't. If people do pro se kind of stuff, they don't do it, but hopefully it was. And so your case has to get sent to the embassy system. And then once it's there, you apply for a waiver if you could get a waiver based on having a U.S. citizen, spouse, or parent. And if the I-601A waiver is approved, then you do consular processing. And there's always risks to that, So, but that's the situation. You come on a tourist visa, overstay, you cannot adjust status on a preference category case. Okay, Alana says, are children with pending I-130s able to apply for work permit? No, I-130s do not give anyone any benefits at all. Carlos says, Biden administration made benefits. So if you have one pending, you could potentially come to U.S. faster for certain. There's always exceptions. I say there's like 4 countries in Latin America you could do that for, but that's just something new thing they made up. Okay, Carlos says, with job portability and having to give 2 weeks notice to existing employer, can I give notice before the 180 days I-140 already approved? I don't know what technicalities. When you give notice, your company's up to you, but for portability, you need 180 days. YouTuber says, does the I-130 protect deportations? Not technically, but in practice, sometimes like ICE officers, if you see you have an I-130 pending, I've had people come to me and say, oh, ICE officers said let him go, that kind of thing. So not officially, no. Okay, JP says, my petition has approval date of April 30, 2001. I was told since my petition was approved for April 3rd. Oh, okay. You might have 245I. See, there's always an exception. If you have 245I, hallelujah. But we have to prove that you have 245I. One is having the petition submitted before the date. And I don't know what date it was, April 3rd. I got to look up what the cutoff for 245I was. I always forget. And then we also have to show you were in the United States. Depending on when the case was filed. If it was filed 2001, you probably have to show you're in the United States at the time it was filed, I believe. Nowadays, you only get 245I cases once a year, or once or twice a year. I have a whole CLE, a training course that if lawyers on it, but I would need to look up that stuff. This is getting too case specific. But yeah, if you have 245I, that could be something to save you for the situation with having to file a waiver and leaving, all that kind of stuff. But you got to schedule a consultation. It's just to see what's going on. What was your original question? Let's see. Final action dates. Yeah, you should pay attention to final action dates and stuff on USCIS. I don't have time to get into that stuff right now. We got a bunch of videos on it online. Okay, so Aliana says, how about with a pending I-485 work permits allowed? So a pending I-485 does give you access to what's called a C9 work permit. We usually submit it with the I-485 application, so it comes sooner. Right now, they're approving them like 4 to 8 weeks for most of them. There is additional fee now. I think it's like $290 or something like that. They changed all the fees, but yeah, it should have been done with the work permit. That's really due. You get Social Security numbers that way too, faster. They say they'll give you Social Security numbers, the adjustment of status application now, but it's so inconsistent. Isis says, good evening. My parent lives in the U.S. with the green card. Also have family there as American citizens. I'd like to know, how is the process? How long? What type of visa would I apply for? Potentially your parent could file for you if you're not married and you stay single, and that's going to take over 10 years probably. That's it. I mean, maybe if you're, invest and start a business or your extraordinary ability, it's not clear. We have to dive deep into your family. So unfortunately, American immigration system is so complicated. People always ask, so what kind of visa can I get? We got to dive deep in your personal life to find some sort of exception. Most people will not be able to get it, but that's a quick question. That's a quick answer, but it's not the full answer for sure. It could be other exceptions. Just like the previous person had this 245I exception. I was like, oh, okay, that could have solved it. But there's all these nuances we got to get into. I says, follows up, I guess, as a child over 21, my case is better than my parents filed application for. It should be done by immigration lawyers. It better do it. Honestly, it's better. Yeah, you do with immigration lawyer. But, I just got a consultation with a guy, poor guy. He had an immigration lawyer for 10 years. And this person really did him wrong by filing all these incorrect stuff and put him in a really bad position that is very hard. So if you find an immigration lawyer, you got to kind of talk with a couple to get a sense of who knows what they're talking about and who doesn't. Because yeah, it just some people make a lot of promises. If I can't do it or I don't know how to do it, I'll just tell you. I'm not trying to just take people's money. But unfortunately, this one case took a lot of money for this poor guy and put him in a really bad position. If they had not done anything, if they just done anything at all, it would have been a better position. But that's life. Inspector says, does an associate's degree count as a university degree? Yes, but it depends on what you're trying to get. Because sometimes they want a minimum 2-year or 4-year degree, or sometimes they want a graduate degree. Carlos says, can my green card be jeopardized if job portability is actioned? What risks are there to job portability? I'm not sure what actioned means. But if there's errors in the job portability or this discretion, all this stuff is discretion or mistakes can happen. But typically do job port. If I-485 is pending, this is for employment-based cases. If the adjustment of status is pending for 6 months and the I-140 has been approved, if you find a new employer, you just switch off. Depending on what the job is, sometimes people start their own businesses. We could even do that, but it depends on the job title that you have. But are there risks that we could always something to talk about? Schedule a private consultation with our senior associate about that, senior employment-based associate, and they can help you. Kiani says, I thought we answered that question. Sorry, my internet's being busted up. Sorry, everybody. Hopefully it's come back and you ask your questions again. My internet got really bad. Sorry. I sent an invite to somebody by accident. Sorry. If my husband has a green card approved and we are married, can I get it? If it's after the fact, that could be problematic. You should have been married before he got the green card, then you could be added on. If you had a U visa, that should have been listed in the previous application process. So you should talk with the attorney in private to figure that part out if it works or not. All right, we're gonna take some Instagram questions. Maud says, "How many months to get a green card after one comes over and gets married to a married?" I don't know. Depends on what case you have. If you're married to a U.S. citizen and you got a fast timeline, it could be 3-5 months. It could be much longer than that. Oygar says, what are the conditions to expedite the embassy interview timeline? Something very bad has to have happened. Wait, sorry, my TikTok just ended. What's going on? My TikTok live just went shut off and shut back on. Sorry, everybody, that stopped the show. So I'm not sure why TikTok's having issues. Dang. I guess TikTok is really falling apart. I guess they are taking off the internet and took away the live option for me to do my TikTok live all of a sudden. But oh well, sorry, buddy, for that. And we got a lot of questions on TikTok, but it is what it is. Okay, can you help with expedite interviews at the embassy? We could help, but is it going to happen? Probably not in most cases. We do get them approved. I got a couple approved recently, but it really depends on two things: the facts, how we could document the fact of your need to have an expedite approved. Is there a medical condition? Is there some sort of serious issue happening that needs it to be expedited? And keep in mind, your case has to be current for it to be expedited. If it's not current, we can't expedite it. And that's a whole different topic to talk about. The explanation is. Having said that, we have gotten approved. Again, we have to have one, good reasons, and secondly, we have to have luck. We give it to the government, and then it depends on who's reading it and how sensitive they are to the issues that you have. But it is something that we do, but it just heads up, you get paid and get nothing in return. That's just, we do the work, but it's up to the government. So you guys, are they still waiving interviews for marriage adjustments? For the most part, yeah, they are. You are. That's something people like a lot. Reflex says, what to when you stay long after visa immigrant is completed? I don't know if I understand any of that, Reflex. Please try to do it one more time in some way I can understand it. But thank you for coming on the show and asking questions. I'm just really surprised TikTok live is not working. When you do a live show, you never know what's going to happen. But that sucks. TikTok is a good place for a lot of questions, even though there are a lot of repeat questions and they get annoying. But hey, sometimes things get cut off. It is what it is. All right, so let's get some more questions on Instagram. All right, so nothing new on there. So, the immigration system, if you're going to do something, I've said it before, I'll say it again, get it in now as soon as possible, because it looks like the president's probably going to be changing to Trump next year, the way things are going. Who knows? The future is unbelievable. Look at the president of Iran. So, who knows? But if you're going to do something, you want to get it in or learn how to do it or see what the possibilities are as soon as possible. Because last time around this happened, it created a lot of issues for a lot of people. And, the Biden administration is trying to clean it up and not really. And they're not doing that much of a good job on it. So it is what it is we're dealing with. And I want you to, be prepared to look into it much sooner. If you're on this show, you're already getting a good start on it. But you ask the question, see why the need for having a lawyer is good. Sometimes you ask, I don't understand, why do you need a lawyer? What's so complicated about that? When I was in law school, we had like, I don't know how many, we had like a couple hundred people are becoming lawyers at the same time at my law school. And I was like, dude, how many lawyers are needed? What's the difference between this lawyer and that lawyer? I couldn't understand it. And then as I practiced law and I saw like good lawyering myself when I made mistakes, or I did good lawyering or bad lawyering or whatever, other people, I realized really there's skill difference. There's a real difference in that. So you want to talk with different people, get a feeling for them. You come here for free. You guys come and talk. We're setting up webinars where about marriage green card cases, where it's a private session. So we could talk very focused about that. Probably on Thursday, we're going to launch the landing page, but just give you a heads up on that. It's upcoming. Aliana says, am I understanding you that if you file the I-765 after the I-485, it takes longer for approval? The approval time of the I-765 it takes longer because you're filing it later. So if you had filed it sooner, you would have got it sooner. I'm not saying it's going to take longer for the I-765 or the I-485 to be approved per se by itself, but it's just if you filed a form a month later, it's going to take a month longer. It's just the practicality of it. Reflex says, what do you do when your visa immigrant is completed since December 9th, 2024, but haven't done interview yet? I think you mean you got documentarily qualified and you're waiting for your interview scheduled. You just got to wait. That's all I can say. There's nothing. I don't know what country you're from and stuff, but that's essentially it. Just wait. Wow, TikTok is starting to come back, but not really. It's just loading. I don't know what's going on. Lewani says, what will be the future of I-75 when is Trump elected? Probably the same old, same old. Ideally, I want to take that form away because it's such a hassle for people. But it is what it is. So sorry, my network's being slow. It's messing up today's live. Questions are coming in because, I changed all my routers to it and it worked for a while, but I don't know. Reflex says, I'm from Liberia. So December 9th, right now is May. Sometimes it takes years for you to get interviews nowadays, especially if you're in Africa. I think Liberia is in West Africa. So fortunately, stuff just takes a while. I haven't seen your case. It might be there's something wrong or something fixed. I don't know. I can't tell you from here, but it's not surprising that's happened. It's nothing abnormal right now for most parts of the world. All right. So for those just tuning in on TikTok, when we just restarted, we're having like a weird TikTok day, weird internet day, so we got cut off. Feel free to throw your questions in again. Sorry for those got cut off, and probably get the same question over again. But hey, why not? All right. So what else is going on? Another thing to be mindful of, if you're doing consular processing, one thing that's happening is the work to be able to do that case is just kind of out of hand. So when your green card case, your marriage case or whatever is approved in the US, meaning that the case is like viable, it's the marriage is real or your job is real, and then you got to set up an embassy appointment like Reflex here had. First, you got to submit all your documents to the National Visa Center. And for them, they've gone right now, they're working pretty fast. It'll take maybe sometimes a couple of days for them to review it. But once that's what's called documentary qualified, they do initial review of your documents at the National Visa Center stage. And once that's okayed, then they tell the embassy, hey, when you can schedule an embassy interview for this person, tell us, and they'll tell the client, the applicant. So what happens is the embassy in Liberia, in this case, wherever else, is just sitting on it, and all the other immigrant visa cases they have until they have openings. And at the beginning of the month, they'll tell the National Visa Center, hey, we have 40 spots for these people, and tell them what the day is, and they'll just do it. So it just really depends on that situation. That's primarily what's happening. And they're really backed up in most parts of the world because of the COVID backlog and because of the travel bans for Trump and stuff. Is there a problem with your case, you're asking, as a follow-up? I can't really say because I don't know anything about your case other than 4 sentences you wrote here. You might have an affidavit of support issue. You might have inadmissibility issues, but maybe you don't have issues at all. I don't know. I can't tell you from here. That's something I have to sit and study your case. ISIS asks, thank you so much for your honest and quick response. Just in case I get a scholarship degree to study in the U.S., what type of visa could I get? I'm an opera singer. Is that a special talent visa? So if you want to study in the United States, you're probably going to have to get an F1 or maybe a J1 sometimes. But if you're an opera singer, you could potentially get an O1 visa to come and sing opera style here if you could reach the level of what the O1 visa is. These things are possible. The Lawani says, will my Iranian nationality impact my I-751 case? I'm Iranian for Isfahan. Not usually. I don't say I usually be a problem for that stage of the case or that I-751 cases. Alana says, last question on the topic. Is there a time frame that if the I-765 hasn't been processed, you can make an inquiry? And how do you make that request? There is a process if you're outside estimated processing times, and estimated processing times are given by USCIS itself. And pretty much, I think they have bad faith in what they're doing here. Is they intentionally say that the processing time for the case is so long that like you're never going to be able to complain about it, because they're going to say, let's say, well, we expect an I-765 case to be approved between 1 month to 5 years. And I'm making the number up, but sometimes it's extreme as that. So if a 5 year hasn't processed, then you can't complain about it. This is the tactic they're using to avoid people being able to complain about the delays. So having said that, Elena, because they started charging filing fees for I-765s based on your category C9, most likely, I don't have statistics for this, but probably the number of people requesting work permits has dropped precipitously because it's not free anymore. And so what we're seeing is like, it's taking 4 to 8 weeks to get a work permit once the I-765 is filed in your category. And it's probably going to get faster because I bet people don't want to pay the extra money for it. So that's hopefully the case. I can't say this stuff for sure, but that's probably how it looks right now. Liwani says, thank you, Host John. You're welcome. God bless you. Merci, Isa. All right. So a couple of questions on TikTok and Instagram, and we'll call it a day. Okay. So what can I do if the embassy has taken too long to schedule an interview? UAE? Yeah, UAE is super backed up, especially if you're Iranian. That case is going to take like 2 years to get an interview. If there's a reason to expedite, you have documentation, you give it a shot, but not much you can do. Nermin says, I can apply. Remember, same question over again. Can I travel with a combo card? I got my work permit approved and advance pro waiting for my car. I mean, can you travel with advanced pro? Yes, you can, but there's risk to it depending on your background and stuff like that. I'm not sure why my internet's being so bad on my phone that TikTok is getting set off. Is it some sort of conspiracy? What's going on? You're welcome, Elena. It's Elena. Okay. Basit says, after the M400 interview decision I made, I got ticket and I'm not sure what it says, but you got to give them all the information you need. Hopefully it works. Rena says, hi, attorney. I just want to ask how long the immigration attorney should file my file. It's been 2 months. How long the immigration attorney should file? I think you're saying how long the attorney should take to file your case. I mean, it depends on your case and what documents you provided. Like we have clients where we could file the case. We're just waiting for like their signature. And then there's a couple of cases right now where we just need the person to sign and they're gone for 6 months, or we just one document from them. So I don't know. It depends on your attorney in your case. I can apply for citizenship and my green card is pending refugee. I filed 3 years ago. I don't know, Nermeen. You have to have a private consultation. App says, hello, can you please tell me how long is the fiancé visa processing? It's different for different countries and it keeps changing. But if you mean to get a visa, probably 2 years. To get a green card, maybe 3 years. Basit says, after M400, okay, answered that. You keep answering the question. I can't tell you what to do on your case to upload stuff. That's individual legal guidance, so I can't help you with that, Basit Khan. Okay, so we're about to ending the show. We have a question from YouTuber. Is there any hope for immigration reform this year? I don't expect immigration reform any year, so I don't I don't go by hope. Just got to figure out the solutions, what we have, and take it from there. That's it. When should I file for the marriage? Trina, download our guide, marriageimmigrationlaw.com. That's the place to go. How does the NIW get approved? I-140, if you take premium processing, could be pretty quick. Adjustment of status, there's no answer to that, really. And final question, Reflex says, so if your case says completed, what does it mean? I think you mean documentally qualified or completed on the DS260 site. That means you submitted what you need to submit, and you just need to wait for an interview appointment. That's what that means. Colin says, my green cards are mailed out since Friday. How long before I get it? That's up to the post office, brother, not me. Hopefully it won't be too much longer. Having said that, thank you, everyone. God bless. Be safe. If you want to schedule a consultation, go to our website, jqklaw.com, and then go to the contact us page, or just go straight to jqklaw.com/contact and fill out that quick form, and that goes in our system so we can take in touch and take it from there. Everyone be safe. God bless, and I wish you all the best. Bye-bye.